Welcome, and thank you for being here. Whether you're listening on your way to work, sitting in a quiet moment, or simply taking a step toward improving your English, you've made the right decision. This is your space to learn, to grow, and to build confidence, one step at a time. Here, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. You just need to be willing to listen.
There is a moment in every
this
person's
podcast,
life
we
when they
focus on
realize
what
that
truly
language
matters:
is more than just
understanding,
words.
consistency,
It is access.
and real
It
progress.
is connection.
So relax.
It is power.
Take a deep
And
breath
when it comes
and
to
allow
the modern
yourself
world,
to enjoy the process.
English has become
because
one of the most
learning English
important
is not
keys to
just about
unlocking that
language.
power.
It's about
Imagine
opening
waking
new
up one
doors,
day
new
and understanding
opportunities, and a
everything
new
you
version
hear in
of
English
yourself.
movies.
Let's begin.
Podcasts, interviews, conversations. Imagine speaking without hesitation, expressing your thoughts clearly, and feeling confident in every word you say. This version of you is not far away. It is built step by step, through consistency, awareness, and the right approach. Learning English is not about memorizing long lists of vocabulary or forcing yourself to study complicated grammar rules for hours. In fact, many learners fail because they focus too much on what feels like studying and not enough on what actually builds the skill. Language is not a subject you study. It is a skill you train. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't become strong by reading about exercise. You become strong by doing the movements, repeating them, struggling, and improving over time. Language works the same way. You need exposure, repetition, and real interaction. The first and most powerful tool you have is listening. Before you ever speak fluently, before you ever write correctly, your brain must become familiar with the sounds of the language. Listening is how your brain builds patterns. It begins to recognize rhythm, pronunciation, and common structures without you even realizing it. At the beginning, you might feel lost. You may listen to a sentence and understand nothing. That is completely normal. In fact, it is necessary. Your brain is adjusting to a new system. Every time you listen, even if you don't understand, you are training your mind. Instead of asking, "Why don't I understand?" ask yourself, "How often am I listening?" Consistency beats intensity every single time. 10 minutes of focused listening every day will take you further than hours of random study. Once a week. The key is frequency. The more often your brain is exposed to English, the faster it adapts. When you listen, do not try to translate everything into your native language. Translation creates a delay. It forces your brain to go through an extra step, and that step slows down your ability to think in English. Instead, try to connect words directly to meaning. When you hear a phrase like "I'm hungry," don't think of the translation. Think of the feeling. Imagine the sensation of hunger. This is how children learn their first language. They connect sound to experience, not sound to another word. This method may feel strange at first, but it is one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Another important principle is repetition. You should not be afraid of repeating the same content again and again. In fact, repetition is where real learning happens. The first time you listen, you catch a few words. The second time, you notice patterns. The third time, you begin to understand meaning. By the fifth or sixth time, you may be able to predict what comes next. This is not boring. This is progress. Choose simple content at your level and stay with it long enough for it to become familiar. When something becomes easy, that is a sign that your brain has absorbed it. Speaking is the next step, and many learners fear it. They wait until they feel ready, until their grammar is perfect, until their vocabulary is large enough. But that moment never truly comes. The truth is, you become ready by speaking, not before it. You will make mistakes. You will hesitate. You will forget words. And that is exactly how it should be. Every mistake is feedback. Every pause is part of the process. The goal is not perfection. The goal is communication. Start small. Speak to yourself. Describe what you are doing. Say simple sentences out loud. The more you use your voice, the more natural it becomes. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build through action. Reading and writing also play important roles, but they should support your listening and speaking, not replace them. Reading helps you see structure. Writing helps you organize your thoughts. But fluency comes from active use, not passive knowledge. Another powerful idea is immersion. You do not need to travel to another country to immerse yourself in English. You can create your own environment. Change your phone language. Watch videos in English. Listen to English podcasts daily. Surround yourself with the language as much as possible. The more English becomes part of your daily life, the less it feels like something you are learning, and the more it feels like something you are living. There will be days when you feel motivated and days when you feel stuck. This is normal. Progress in language learning is not always visible. Sometimes you improve without noticing. Then suddenly, one day, you understand something that once felt impossible. That moment is the result of all the small efforts you made when you thought nothing was happening. Trust the process. Stay consistent. Keep listening. Keep repeating. Keep speaking. And most importantly, keep going. One of the most important shifts you can make in your journey is changing how you measure progress. Most learners measure progress by how much they know, how many words they have memorized, how many grammar rules they understand. But real progress in a language is not measured by knowledge. It is measured by ability. Can you understand what you hear? Can you respond without overthinking? Can you express an idea, even if it's simple? These are the questions that truly matter. You may know thousands of words, but if you hesitate every time you speak, that knowledge is not yet a skill. The goal is to turn knowledge into automatic response, and the only way to do that is through repeated exposure and use. Think about how you respond in your native language. You don't pause to think about grammar. You don't translate in your head. You simply understand and respond. This is the level you are working toward in English, and it is achievable, but it requires patience. Language learning is not a straight line. Some days you will feel like you are improving quickly. Other days, you may feel like you are forgetting everything. This is not failure. This is part of how the brain learns. When your brain is exposed to new information, it takes time to organize it. Sometimes, what feels like no progress is actually your brain building connections in the background. So instead of stopping when it feels difficult, that is exactly when you should continue. There is also something important to understand about mistakes. Many learners try to avoid mistakes at all cost. They want to speak perfectly. They want every sentence to be correct. But this mindset slows you down. Mistakes are not the opposite of learning. They are part of learning. Every time you make a mistake and correct it, your brain becomes stronger. You begin to notice patterns. You start to understand what sounds right and what doesn't. If you never make mistakes, it usually means you are staying in your comfort zone. Growth happens outside of that zone. Another key element is pronunciation. Pronunciation is often ignored, but it plays a huge role in communication. You don't need a perfect accent, but you do need to be clear. Good pronunciation makes it easier for others to understand you, and it also improves your listening. When you train your mouth to produce sounds correctly, your ears become better at recognizing them. One simple and powerful technique is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a sentence and repeating it immediately, trying to match the speaker's rhythm, tone, and pronunciation. Not word by word, but as a flow. At first, it will feel difficult. You may not keep up. That's okay. Start with short sentences. Repeat them many times. Focus on sounding natural, not perfect. Over time, your speech will become smoother, faster, and more confident. Another powerful habit is thinking in English. This is a game changer. Most learners think in their native language and then translate into English. This creates delay and confusion. But when you start thinking directly in English, everything becomes faster and more natural. You can begin with very simple thoughts. What am I doing now? I am walking. I am drinking coffee. This is a good day. Keep it simple. The goal is not complexity. The goal is consistency. The more you do this, the more your brain adapts. Eventually, you will notice something interesting. You will start to form sentences. Automatically, you will hear a question and respond without translating. You will understand phrases instantly. This is the moment when the language becomes part of you. Motivation also plays an important role, but it is not something you can rely on every day. Some days you will feel excited. Other days, you won't feel like doing anything. This is why discipline is more important than motivation. Create a simple daily system. Listen for a few minutes. Repeat what you hear. Speak out loud. Think in English. Do this every day. even when you don't feel like it, because consistency creates results. Not motivation. Environment matters more than talent. You don't need to be good at languages to succeed. What you need is the right environment. If English is part of your daily routine, you will improve. If you only study once in a while, progress will be slow. Make English unavoidable in your life. Let it be the background of your day. Listen while walking. Listen while resting. Listen while doing simple tasks. The more natural it becomes, the faster you grow. Another important idea is to focus on meaning, not perfection. Communication is about understanding and being understood. Even if your sentence is not perfect, if the meaning is clear, you are succeeding. Perfection comes later. Fluency comes first, and fluency is built through use. There will be moments when you feel stuck, when progress feels slow.